Happy Thanksgiving! I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday that you could spend with your family and friends. I know I did. But now that Thanksgiving's officially over, the Christmas season has officially begun! This is the most wonderful time of year, but let's face it, it's also the most expensive time of year. I am always looking for thoughtful yet inexpensive gifts that I can give to my family and loved ones. So if you're on a budget, or even if you're not on a budget, but you just would like to do something a little more thoughtful than just buying somebody a gift card or giving them money, then here is a do-it-yourself project that you can easily do at home and doesn't cost very much money at all. And it's super practical. It is these painted mason jars, and you can do them in any color that you like. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think they come out looking really cute. I've done them in gold, I've done them in pearl white, and you can use them to hold your makeup brushes. You can use them for holding pencils and pens. You can use it for a decoration, stick flowers in it, whatever you decide to do. But today we're going to be doing a pearl one. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is a mason jar, of course. You can pick them up at your local craft stores. I got mine from Michael's for $2. Really cheap, easy to find in pretty much any store you go to. The next thing you're going to need is some acrylic paint. Again, I got mine from Michael's. I have white pearl, metallic gold, and I picked up a white one too, just regular white. So of course you're going to need that. Acrylic paint I found works pretty good. There's probably other types of paint that work well too, but for our use here, I prefer to use the acrylic paint. Secondly, you're going to need a paintbrush. I like this one, how this one works. I picked up the whole set though, again from Michael's. It was super cheap, can't remember, maybe $10 for the whole thing, maybe less. But it came with like every single brush you could imagine. And I just liked this one because it's big enough to cover enough area, but it's also small enough to kind of get around in the corners and stuff. And if I need to, I can use one of the smaller brushes that come in the pack to like get in like really detailed areas. But this one works great. And then you will need something to put your paint on. Last time I used this like little cup that came with the cupcake holders in it, and I just took out the cupcake holders and used the top of the thing, and that worked really great for me. Or you can just put it on like a piece of paper or whatever you have, as long as you don't mind it like getting permanently painted. Lastly, do not forget any type of paper, newspaper, something to put in front of you so that way you don't get your surroundings dirty. I'm just using what the mason jars came wrapped in. It works perfectly. It's free, doesn't cost me anything, and it's a really good size, covers everything, so my table does not get dirty. Alright, so let's get started. First, I just take off the caps, deal with those later. And the first time I did this gold one, used for my makeup brushes. And the first time I did it, I freaked out a little bit because the first coat was like really transparent and it wasn't what I was picturing in my head at all. So don't get discouraged. The more coats you do, the better it gets. As you can see, like this is not transparent at all. Can't see the jar. It's really gold. It probably took about 3 to 4 coats for it to get that way. Just squirt out a good amount because you're gonna go through it. Dip your brush. And I like to start at the rim here and go all the way down. I don't know if you can see. And I do that motion from under the lip all the way down, and I don't do the bottom because I'm going to do that once the sides dry. I'll do the bottom and I'll do the top of the rim last. Okay. So just continue with this until you've made your way all the way around. And sometimes I like to stick my fingers in here too and kind of hold it this way so that way I'm not touching the paint. The first time you don't really need to worry too much about how it looks. It's gonna be streaky. It's gonna look not good. So this is what it looks like. It's really streaky. It's not covering everything very well. But that's okay because we're gonna go over it again and then maybe one more time. And by the time we're done, it will look good. Now I'll try to get in here. I use this brush. If you don't like using a bigger brush like this, you could by all means always use a smaller brush. So now I'm gonna wait for that to dry. It takes a fair amount of time for it to dry, so it's better to go do something and come back to it later. Make sure you get the paint off your brush, otherwise it will dry hard onto the brush, and then when you come back it'll be like meh. So I'm gonna soak this in water while we wait. If you want to do these too, you can always paint these while you wait. If there's a sticker on it, take some rubbing alcohol, that will take it off. Mine still has a little bit of sticker on it. I don't have any rubbing alcohol with me right now, so that's okay. So to paint this, it's the same thing, really. You're just going around the rim. Can you see? So I go around the sides first and then I go around the top. Alright, so that's covered. Let it dry, wash my hands and wash my brush, and we'll be back in probably 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, so now that it's been about an hour, we're ready to do our second coat on our mason jar. Make sure that your brush that should have already been cleaned is dry before we put on the next coat. Okay. So we just do the same thing again, just going around and then finishing off with the rim. So now we just wait again for another 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, so we're starting to look better after 2 coats. We still got 1, maybe 2 more to go. But now what I want to do is start to paint the bottom of it. So to do that, just gonna dip your brush in the paint, and I kind of start a little bit outside on the rim and then sweep across the bottom. Like that, all the way from rim to rim. And then I'll do that all the way around until the entire bottom is covered. Now this part, it doesn't really matter too much how it looks because, I mean, it's just gonna be sitting, so nobody will really see it anyway. There we go. So quick and easy. The most difficult part though is like setting it down. So to set it down, you need to set it up so it can dry. So I kind of waited for our second coat to dry so that way I can touch it and it won't get paint all over my hand. So we'll do that. This is definitely a project that takes a while to do. So if you're in a rush and you need a quick fix gift, you forgot to get somebody something, this is not the project to do. It probably takes a good day. If you're home all day and you have the time, you could do it in one day. Otherwise, you could do it over a series of days and just sit down and do a coat at a time. It's totally up to you. But in the end, it looks pretty. You can see right now it's already looking pearly and gorgeous. So we'll just sit and wait for it to dry. On the bottom, I usually only do, I'd say 2 coats. I don't normally do like the full 3 to 4 coats just because, like I said previously, it's going to be sitting up and nobody's really going to see it anyway. I mean, it's going to be sitting down on top of it. So that's the deal with that. Okay, so now we just wait more. Okay, so I went ahead and I did the last couple of coats. So after 4 coats, this is how it looks. And if you feel like it could use more coats after 4, by all means, do another coat or 2 or however many until you're satisfied. Obviously, the more coats that you do, the better it's gonna look at the end. But this is just, I feel, is a really great idea and a cheap way to make a gift for somebody or to use just even for yourself for either decoration or to hold your makeup brushes or pencils or anything like that, whatever you can think of to use it for. So I hope that you liked this project and that you'll be able to find a use for it in your future. And thank you for watching.